Yeah, my apologies, brothers and sisters. And I'm not sure exactly where I left off, but I want to read Galatians 5 again. I just looked up and lost the stream. Galatians 5 and verse 14 reads, "For all the law is fulfilled in one word, even in this, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself." But again, is this a new concept? This is not a new concept. And what does that mean, to love? Again, you can go back to the Old Testament to find out. Let's go back. Let's go to Leviticus, the 19th chapter, and verse 13. And you're going to see love again. You can't take it away from the law. Because love, it's another thing. How do you love? How is one righteous? It's very clear. You love according to what the law says. That's how you love. You are righteous according to what? The law. You sin according to what? Your failure to adhere to the law. It's not just vague. Leviticus, the 19th chapter, and verse, let's pick it up at verse 13. It says, "Thou shalt not defraud thy neighbor, neither rob him. The wages of him that is hired shall not abide with thee all night until the morning." So you're not going to defraud your neighbor. He says you're not going to keep his money that you own. It said, "Thou shalt not curse the deaf, nor put a stumbling block before the blind, but shall fear thy God. I am the Lord." And understand, when you fear God, you're gonna love your neighbor as you should. Why? Because you fear God. Verse 15: "You shall do no unrighteousness in judgment. Thou shalt not respect the persons of the poor, nor honor the person of the mighty." So you can't, you don't want to be a respecter of persons, just like he's not a respecter of persons. It says, "But in righteousness shalt thou judge thy neighbor." Well, how are you judging in righteousness? Your judgment in righteousness is based on the righteous law. Hold a finger here and let's find out what Paul said about the law. Just hold our finger right here. And we're in Romans. We're in the book of Romans, chapter 7 and verse 12. It says, "Wherefore the law is holy and the commandment holy and just and good." So that's how you are able to judge righteously according to the law. When you look at this politically, when you look at the things that people are saying right now in this political circus that you see going on, and people are dealing in fake outrage and making moral judgments, but they're dealing in hypocrisy. Why? Because their moral judgments are not based on anything but political expedience. They're doing what's politically expedient. They'll judge a matter based on who said it. I can't agree with that. Why? Because he's a Democrat. I can't agree with her. Why? Because she's a Republican. How dare you do this? And they doing the same thing. All foolishness. Peace to you, Brother Elvis. Good to see you there. He said, "Peace, I'm away." Leviticus, the 19th chapter, and verse 16, it says, "Thou shalt not go up and down," because this is not a new concept. That loving thy neighbor is not new. "Thou shalt not go up and down as a talebearer among thy people, neither shalt thou stand against the blood of thy neighbor. I am the Lord." So, people, if you've ever been lied on, you know what that feels like. That's a terrible feeling, especially when it's a lie that everybody believes. And even worse, I've seen issues where a bunch of people will gang together and plot and lie on somebody. I've seen that. So you got a whole lot of many people saying something, you just assume that it's true. If you on the outside not realizing, no, that person's lying. So it says, "Thou shalt not go up and down as a talebearer among thy people, neither shalt thou stand against the blood of thy neighbor." He says, "I am the Lord." Okay. Then it says in verse 17, "Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him." Even when you think about what he said, how you gonna say you love God and hate your brother? You ain't gonna love God you never seen, but hate your brother who you see every day. You can't. That's not right. "Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart." You don't want to be angry with your brother without cause. He said, thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. And you want to offer correction when correction is due, because correction will save your life. People, when you say somebody's doing something wrong, the first thing people want to yell out, only God can judge me. Yeah, he'll judge what you're doing in the law. That's how you know it's wrong. That's when you tell somebody, hey, listen, homosexuality is wrong. What? How dare you? How dare you say that? How dare you? Only God can judge me, and God loves me, man. You gonna lift your eyes up in hell, you don't change. What? How dare you say that? But that's actually helping you. That's actually helping you. A wise individual, when they're in error, and they don't know it, you bring it to their attention, they're grateful. But nevertheless, he goes on to say, ye shall keep my statute. Well, let me go back up. Verse 18. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people. Then he says something, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Lord. This is how you love. This is how you under the law of love. But see, even them that have the law in Jesus' day, you see it in Matthew 15. They were worried about the traditions of men. They had circumvented the law. They had went beyond the law in favor of their own thoughts and their own basically fulfillment of fleshly desires. Right? Even when you think about how they brought the woman who they caught in adultery and brought her to him and said, we caught this woman in the very act. They about to stone the woman. The law says stone her. What sayest thou? Now the law says stone her. Adultery is a capital sin. But it don't say just stone the woman. It says stone the adulterer and adulteress. Why do you have the woman only and you caught her in the very act? Sounds like unrighteous judgment. That's why I said he was without sin, let him cast the first stone. Bunch of hypocrites. They were convicted of their conscience and dropped them stones and walked away. He didn't tell her, yeah, you've done good by committing adultery. He said, where's thine accusers? He said, man, he told her, hey, go and sin no more. So the law, brothers and sisters, has always been about love. Let's go back to Romans, the 13th chapter. And when you read Romans 13 in context, you understand that it's not anything new per se. It says, Romans, the 13th chapter, and verse 8. I'm going to pick it up there. It says, owe no man anything but to love one another, but he that loveth another hath fulfilled the law. Then he says how you do this. For this thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness. Thou shalt not covet. And if there be any other commandment, it is briefly comprehended in this saying, namely, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Love, so that's how you love your neighbor, by keeping the law pertaining to your neighbor. It said, love worketh no ill to his neighbor, therefore love is the fulfilling of the law. And that's why really the world is in turmoil when you got so much hell on earth, because we don't understand what love is. If we truly understood what love is, our families wouldn't look how they look. Our communities wouldn't look how they look. The nation wouldn't be in the situation it's in. The world wouldn't be in the situation that it's in. It's in that situation because people don't understand what love is, and they don't understand what love is because they don't know God. But God is love. He showed us an example of love. But they don't understand Torah. They're not trying to find out, and they are making what is moral based on what they think. And that changes all the time. And it is not absolute when Torah is absolute. What he gave is absolute. He showed us how to love one another.